In my senior year of high school, I was told by my college counselor that college was a no-go. With a 1.87 GPA, I probably couldn't even walk the stage. This 1.87 GPA was a culmination of 4 years of no guidance, no direction, no leadership. And it was also 4 years of an institution that said it had my best interests, but completely let me slip through the cracks. 10 years later, I'm kind of flexing on it. A recent professor of Africana Studies, contributor, writer to Huffington Black Voices, heck, I even got to meet the President of the United States this very week. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yet and still, I found out something, that I am an exception to a very dangerous rule. A rule that allows at least one of me and 1,000 black men who will never see the opportunity to speak to you all. But why is that? This is the myth of black male exceptionalism. And I believe that it is fundamentally marring the ways that we perceive black boys and their futures moving forward. But how do we fix this? Well, I say that we reorient the ways that we perceive and engage black boys. And I believe that if we do so, that we can radically transform the ways that we see black boys, moving from a model of where we see their behavior, instead looking at their inherent value. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that if we take this on, we will collectively be able to say that Black lives matter. But Black lives can't matter until we fix the most important thing, our perception. We tend to categorize black boys based off of their appearance, their socioeconomic status, and their academic achievement. And it's very easy to do so when you find out that 54% of black boys will never graduate from high school, or only 54% of African Americans graduate from high school. That 2.5 times of black boys will be suspended more than their white peers. And 1 in 3 black males born today, yes, I said 1 in 3 black males born today, will see the inside of a prison cell. How does this make you feel? I think that we have an issue of our perception, and we tend to categorize black boys for being good and being bad. The good ones are the ones who are exceptional, who tend to navigate the destructive statistics that I just shared. And the negative ones, the bad ones, are the ones that we collectively call thugs, hoodlums, gangsters, and for all intensive purposes, niggas. And if we continue to label black boys in this particular fashion, as opposed to actually analyzing the circumstances that create the 54%, I think we are completely negating the dichotomy that allows us to put them in good boxes and bad boxes altogether. Now, many of you may not find this to be a popular statement, but I think that the myth of black male exceptionalism has only gotten worse. And it's only gotten worse with the election of the first black president, President Barack Obama. Now, buckle up. This is all a part of the Obama effect. With the election of President Obama, we, for even a brief moment, believed Dr. Martin Luther King's dream, that little black boys and little black girls could be whatever they put their mind to. Doctors, lawyers, mayors, presidents. Heck, even I wanted to run. But I also realized that it negatively reinforced something. It negatively reinforced that black kids can no longer make excuses because President Obama is in the White House. And because they can no longer make excuses, it's because they live in what we like to kindly call a post-racial society. A post-racial society is a society that we all live in today, of course, where it's completely void of, racial injustice, systemic bias, Nobody goes to jail at disproportionate rates. But do they? With the election of President Obama, the only way that black boys can ever succeed is if they choose to take the high road. This high road, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, to the White House is a very slippery slope, and it has no staircase. And so what we do to tell black boys that they can be a success is if they follow three basic things: exceptionalism, assimilation, and respectability politics. Exceptionalism says that by all means, please distance yourself from anyone that you think is less than. And assimilation says, well, when you get in the room, make sure you take off as much blackness as you can so that when you walk into that space, white people feel comfortable. And respectability politics says that when you are in that room, make sure that your conduct and decorum is appropriate and that everyone looks at you as you ought to be. But that's a problem, ladies and gentlemen, because if we're telling little black boys that they have to be exceptions to the rule, assimilate, and be respectable, how can we ignore these things? The pyramid of respectability. This pyramid of respectability, whether we're conscious of it or not, we judge black men based off of this. We say that black men can either be prisoners, working class, high school grads, college grads, or the elite. And whether how high or low they go, as long as you occupy a black body, you will still be susceptible to racism. And ladies and gentlemen, I have fallen on this category, even though I may be at the tippity top, that if law enforcement sees me with a hoodie, we can all expect the results. And imagine if little black boys have to navigate this on a daily basis. Imagine how acute it becomes when law enforcement looks at this in the ways that they engage them on a daily basis. For instance, let's look at Trayvon Martin, where he was walking home with just Skittles, a hoodie, and in the dark. Or what about Tamir Rice, who was playing in a park with a toy gun and was gunned down by law enforcement within 2.5 seconds? Or what about Philando Castile, who was sitting in his car with his girlfriend and his daughter in the back? Or what about Alton Sterling, who was killed for selling CDs outside of a convenience store? I think that the reason why every single one of these black men died was because black male exceptionalism. They fell on one of these categories, and law enforcement saw them in this way. See, what we don't understand is victims of state violence die twice. First, they die because of flawed perception of who they are, and then they die a second time in the court of public opinion, all based off of the worthiness of the crime. This is why, in 2016, you will hear, "Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter." These are black millennials who are essentially saying that we are tired of institutions looking down on us based off of how well we perform in class, based off of how well we answered to that tail light, or how well we look at an officer without any indignation. Black Lives Matter says, let's do away with this myth of exceptionalism. And I agree. But how do we do so? I want to equip you, ladies and gentlemen, with the ways to engage with your little brothers, with your little cousins, heck, even your homeboys off the block. We do this by changing our perception of black boys altogether. Let's move away from a model that says that black boys are inherently criminal and have delinquent behaviors. And also, we should stop the blame game where we blame black boys for underperforming and meeting this negative expectation, as opposed to actually looking at the circumstances that create negativity to begin with. And then thirdly, we just affirm all black lives. Whether they have a 1.87 GPA or a 4.0, we know that their lives matter. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.